In last video we started first unit, that is theories of metal ligand bond, and at the end of video we discussed about the limitations of valence bond theory. Now in this video I am going to start the crystal field theory to explain the nature of bond between metal and ligand in coordination complex. So before discussing the crystal field theory, you must know the shape of d orbitals. There are 5 d orbitals: dxy, dyz, dzx, dx square minus y square, and dz square. There are 5 d orbitals, and d orbitals are double dumbbell shaped. There are 4 lobes. Opposite lobes have same sine wave function. Now what is the shape of dxy orbital? You consider x and y axis, and this is the xy plane highlighted with red lines. This is the xy plane, and z axis, it is perpendicular to the xy plane. In case of dxy orbital, 4 lobes of d orbital, these are oriented in between x and y axis, but all the 4 lobes, these are oriented along the xy plane. So remember, in case of dxy orbital, lobes are oriented in between x and y axis and along the xy plane, whereas z axis, it is right angle to that plane. Now consider dzx orbital or dxz orbital. Again you imagine x and z axis, and this is the xz plane, whereas y axis, it is right angle to this xz plane. In case of dxz orbital, 4 lobes, these are oriented in between x and z axis, and these lobes are oriented along the xz plane. Okay, opposite lobes have same sine wave function, and these lobes are also oriented in between axis, that is x and z axis. Now consider the dyz orbital. Imagine z axis, and this is the y axis, and this is the yz plane. So here 4 lobes are oriented in between y and z axis, whereas x axis, it is right angle to yz plane. So in case of dxy, dyz and dzx orbitals, the lobes of d orbital, these are oriented in between axis, and the degenerate set of 3 orbitals, it is called as T2G orbitals. T stands for triply degenerate, and G stands for Girard. Girard means orbitals are having plane of symmetry, because opposite lobes have same sine wave function, and therefore they have a symmetry, plane of symmetry. And these 3 orbitals, these are the T2G orbitals. Now consider the 4th orbital, that is dx square minus y square. Again you consider x and y axis, and z axis, it is right angle to xy plane. In case of dx square minus y square orbital, 4 lobes are oriented along the x and y axis, and these 4 lobes are oriented along the xy plane, but here all the 4 lobes or 2 dumbbells, these are oriented along the x and y axis. Now what is the difference between dx square minus y square orbital and dxy orbital? Main difference is, in case of dx square minus y square orbital, lobes are oriented along the x and y axis, whereas in case of dxy orbital, lobes are oriented in between x and y axis. This is the main difference between dxy and dx square minus y square orbitals. Now consider the 5th orbital, that is dz square orbital. In case of dz square orbital, The lobes with positive sine wave function, these are oriented along the z-axis, whereas two negative lobes, they form a ring. The two negative lobes or lobes with negative sine wave function, these two lobes form a ring, and overall electron density, it is oriented along the z-axis. So remember, in case of dx square minus y square and dz square orbital, as lobes or electron density oriented along the x, y and z axis, and the set of these two orbitals, dx square minus y square and dz square orbitals, it is called as EG orbitals. EG means doubly degenerate Girard orbitals. Girard stands for orbitals are having plane of symmetry. Okay, so in this way there are 5d orbitals, dxy, dyz, dzx, dx square minus y square and dz square. In isolated gaseous atom, these 5d orbitals have same energy or they are degenerate, but the 3 orbitals in which lobes are in between axis, these are triply degenerate Girard orbitals represented by T2g, whereas remaining 2 orbitals where lobes are oriented along the axis, these are doubly degenerate Girard orbitals represented by EG. So this is about the shape of d orbitals. Now next important point, what is the basis of crystal field theory? So here actually crystal field theory, it is developed by Sethe and Van Wyck in 1930, whereas in 1951 this crystal field theory was applied for the interpretation of spectra of transition metal complexes. And on the basis of crystal field theory, metal in coordination complex, metal forms the center of complex as a positive ion, and surrounding ligands act as a point charges or negative ions. Actually in coordination complex, metal is at the center, ligands are surrounding the metal. Okay, and what are ligands? Ligands are actually the atoms or species or group of atoms able to donate pair of electron. So ligand species must contain at least one atom which is able to donate pair of electron, and at the time of formation of coordination complex, ligands donate pair of electron towards metal, and there is a formation of coordinate bond between metal and ligand. So here according to CFT, metal forms the center of coordination complex as a positive ion or as a positive entity, as a positive center, and surrounding ligands act as a point charges or negative ions. This is very important. Here according to the concept of crystal field theory, metal ligand bond is purely electrostatic or ionic and not covalent. There is no sharing of electronic pair between metal and ligand. So CFT considers nature of metal ligand bond as a purely electrostatic or ionic. According to CFT, there is a force of repulsion between valence metal electrons and negatively charged ligands. As ligands are electron rich, they are negatively charged, and at the center there is a metal, and in valence shell of metal orbitals there are electrons. So between the metal electrons or electrons of valence shell orbitals of metal, between these electrons and ligand there is a force of repulsion, because electrons are negatively charged and ligands itself, these are electron rich, and therefore there is a possibility of force of repulsion. This is another important point. Again, CFT concerned with interaction between valence orbitals of metal and negatively charged ligand field. Again, metal orbitals which are directly pointed towards ligand will face more repulsion. Actually, metal provides d orbitals, whereas ligands, they donate electron pair towards the metal d orbitals, and there is an interaction between ligand field and metal orbitals, and the metal orbitals which are directly pointed towards ligand face more repulsion. This is very important. Then in transition metal complexes, the d orbitals in valence shell of metal are the most affected by surrounding ligand field. This point is also very important, and this is the basis of crystal field theory. So summary of this point is, on the basis of crystal field theory, metal ligand bonding is purely electrostatic, and CFT does not consider the overlapping between metal and ligand orbitals. Very important thing. And according to crystal field theory, metal forms the center of complex as a point as a positive ion, and surrounding ligands act as a point charges or negative ions. Now next point is crystal field splitting. So in an isolated gaseous metal ion, all the 5d orbitals are degenerate. Now consider perfectly spherically symmetrical ligand field is placed around the metal ion. Now this negatively charged ligand field interact with d orbitals, and therefore energy of d orbital will increase because of repulsion between electrons of d orbitals and negatively charged ligand field, and all the 5d orbitals will have a little bit higher energy as compared to the energy of d orbitals in isolated gaseous metal ion. But this is totally hypothetical concept because ligand field is not perfectly spherically symmetrical. In most of the complexes, ligand field is not perfectly symmetrical and it is unsymmetrical, and therefore degeneracy of 5d orbital is disturbed, and therefore the splitting of 5 degenerate d orbitals of metal or metal ion due to negatively charged ligand field into groups having different energies is called crystal field splitting. So when these 5d orbitals of metal ion are influenced by negatively charged ligand field, which may be octahedral or tetrahedral, then no longer 5d orbitals will be degenerate. This degeneracy will be disturbed and we get 2 or more energy levels. In octahedral ligand field, there will be 2 different energy levels of d orbitals, and as there is a formation of different energy levels, it is called as splitting of d orbitals. And the extent of splitting depends upon number, nature and direction of ligands. It increases with increase in number of ligands, because extent of splitting, it is decided by number of ligands. Greater the number of ligands, greater is the possibility of interaction between ligands and electrons present in d orbitals, and therefore extent of splitting will be more. Similarly, it depends upon nature of ligands. If there are strong field ligands, splitting will be more, and if there are weak field ligands, splitting will be less. And it also depends upon, extent of splitting also depends upon direction of ligands. When ligands approach the d orbitals directly, then splitting will be more, and when d orbitals are away from the ligands, then these d orbitals will be less affected. In that case, the splitting will be less. Actually, direction of ligand is also very important, and because of this, splitting in octahedral complex and tetrahedral complex is different. Extent of splitting is different. So this is about the crystal field splitting.